Welcome to Africa Media Australia. My name is Clash Radi. Tonight we're talking about international students. We know that Australia has been for long a country that has welcomed many international students from many countries. But when international students arrive in Australia, things don't always go in accordance to the expectations. So we have a gentleman by the name of Daniel who's had a bit of issues in relation to his journey here in Australia. More on this story straight after this. Okay. I have with me today a gentleman by the name of Daniel. He's preferred to not to show his face for some personal reasons, but he's gone through quite a bit of issues in his journey into Australia. He came from Guadeloupe, which is one of the French overseas territories, and he came to Australia to study. And after arriving in Australia, about a couple of years after that, he started going through a number of issues, and he wanted to tell us his story. We thought it's actually very important because we know that, as I said in the introduction, there are a lot of students who come from many parts of the world to Australia to study, and they expect, obviously, to be able to do their studies and either to go back where they came from, or if they qualify, they do everything that the government requires from them, they can have a chance to stay in Australia if they choose to. But for Daniel, things haven't gone as smooth as is wanted them to go. So we're going to ask him to tell us a little bit about his story. Good evening, Daniel. How are you today?
Good evening, Cloud. Fine, thank you. And yourself?
Good, thank you. So you obviously came to Australia to study, but tell us a little bit about yourself, where you, the country you came from, and what motivated you to come to Australia to study.
Yeah, my name is Daniel. I have 42 years old and come from Guadeloupe. So I came in Australia as an international student. I wanted to stay only 1 year to improve my English, and I was particularly curious to discover this country and decide to find a way to stay permanently.
Okay. So, what led you to actually decide to come to Australia? There are a lot of countries that offer opportunity to study. Why did you choose to come to Australia?
Yeah, but when I was in holiday in USA, I met an Australian and I decided to do some research on Google, and I thought that was a great idea to come and improve my English over there. That is why.
Okay, sure. And when you arrived to Australia, what were your first impressions? How did you find the country?
Yeah, my first impression was great. That was a bit hot because 42 degrees, and that was a
Yeah,
bit
that's quite
very
hard, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, very dry. But after that, I decided to stay. I would like to try to find a way to stay, know more about people, know the culture, and I was very curious about that. That's why I did everything to find a way to stay.
Okay. Now, uh, it looks like about 2 years after settling in Australia for your studies, you started going through quite a number of issues that have affected you negatively. And I suppose there's quite a few of those that, and that's the reason why you came to us to see if we could sort of help you to publicize your story, because many other people may be going through the same thing, and it's important that some of these things are known. So let's go maybe one after the other. What was the first issue that you encountered?
Yeah, the first issue, I bought a car in 2018 for 11,000 with 5 years warranty at a car giant, John Dakot, in order to start my business as a driving instructor and take part of this community. But after 15 days, the car showed few defects. I found two invoices from the previous car owner showing the same defects. Then the car dealer, um, this later refused to fix my car.
Mm.
Then I had a lawyer, but this one took my money and didn't send my statement of claim to the court. And even he told me my matter was legally complicated.
I see.
Um, After that, I tried to recover my money from him in court, but the judge didn't want to postpone the hearing because I didn't have my interpreter, my French interpreter. He didn't check my evidence and dismissed my claim.
Okay. So I'll just go back a little bit, and I have to tell our viewers, you as you can probably hear, um, Daniel comes from a French background, so he's got a heavy French accent, which I mean we all have accent in the French one, which actually a lot of people love in Australia, but sometimes
Yeah,
you can get a few things missed in that process. So we just want to make sure we're trying to dissect the whole story so we understand. So you
thanks.
you you bought a car from a car dealer, and the car after some time showed some defects. You went back, wanted them to fix. They didn't want to fix the car, but yeah, they said there was nothing wrong. But you could see from previous invoices that the owner had some issues there. So it looks like they must have known that the car was faulty, didn't they?
Yeah, they knew because I received invoices from them
Yeah.
showing the same defect than the previous car owner.
Okay. And you wanted to resolve the matter, but it didn't work. You wanted then a lawyer to help you to address that, but that didn't work either. And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
you lost money both for the car. Did you have to fix it yourself, that car?
I tried to fix what I could, but the major defects I couldn't. That's why more than 1 year later, I sold my car.
Okay. So, and I'm sure you must have sold it at loss. It must be much cheaper
Yeah,
than when you
yeah.
bought it. So how much
Uh,
money did you lose altogether with that car issue?
I I sold it 4,000,
And you bought it 11,000.
11,000. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a big loss.
Big loss. And the lawyer, you said that the lawyer who initially gave you some hope that he
Yeah,
would fix the matter, but he didn't deliver. But you still you lost money, but he still took money from you.
yeah. I lost more than 6,000 for my former lawyer.
Okay. That's not good. Tell us about the second incident. We understand sometimes in Australia here they call them lemons. You go into a car dealer, you buy a lemon that is a car that is not quite right, and when you go back to the dealer wanting them to fix, and often they resist that unless you are lucky and all that sort of thing. So that's something happens here, which is obviously not good. Tell us about the second incident.
Yeah, the second incident, I was working as a rideshare driver when a cop when a cop
Okay.
stopped
Yeah.
me.
Mm-hmm.
A cop stopped me and was very aggressive against me. Despite my customer and I tried to explain him why I stopped in this street, the police officer initiated a criminal charge procedure against me, even if he knew I was an international student and I was working very hard.
Mm.
When I asked his colleague for his badge number, this later assaulted me. But thankfully, the assault ended when a female police officer came and I took his badge number. Few months
Mm.
later, thankfully, the judge dropped the charge against me.
Okay, so that was obviously an incident with the police, and you think you were basically do you think it was a matter of just bad luck, or the police didn't really do the job properly?
No, it's not bad luck because in the street you have a lot of nightclub, restaurants, so they know we don't have other choice than park to pick up our customer. So that wasn't a bad luck because I work as a rideshare driver more than 3 years, and I used to stop in the street to pick up my customer.
Mm. Okay. So you ended up in court with that case because you said before the police assaulted you, one of
Yeah,
the police that you had to deal with, but
yeah,
they took the matter to court. Was it what was the reason why they actually took the matter to court?
because they said I stopped to the yellow line, and they asked me to move, and I didn't want. And
Yeah.
he asked me to move on the pavement, and I refused to move. So to this matter
Mm.
was why they initiate the criminal procedure against me.
Okay, but at least you had a little bit of luck because in the end, the judge did dismiss the case.
Yeah, because I have CCTV footage
Yeah.
who helped me.
Okay, so if you didn't have that footage, you would have been in much more trouble, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, as if those two incidents were not enough, you also had a third incident. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, this one I was renting a car at Northside Rentals. But
Hmm.
in 2019, I had a car accident while I was working as a rideshare driver. I was not at fault. So the next day, I paid 1,000 excess to this company, and a few months later, they refund me this amount. The
Okay,
other the other car insurance company paid to Northside an indemnity because the car was write-off. But during the COVID pandemic, Northside gave 50% discount to support the drivers. But when I asked them if they can give you a discount, they refuse. And
so hang on,
finally,
let me make sure I understand. You're saying that because of the pandemic,
yeah,
this rental company was actually giving all the drivers in that were hiring cars from them, they were giving them a
yeah,
50% discount. But
yeah,
when you found out about that, because first they didn't tell you, and second,
yeah,
when you found out and you asked them, they
yeah.
didn't. Did they at least acknowledge they were giving others and they just couldn't give to you, or they didn't even admit that they were
No,
giving
no,
that?
no. No, no, I talked to the driver who informed me they got 50% from this company. And when I asked this company if I can get a discount, they refused.
Okay,
And
all right.
In March 2021, they decide to don't give me back my car after the service. So I lost more than 2 months income. I didn't work because I didn't have car.
All right. And how much money you think that ended up costing you?
From the car accident in 2019 to now, they have to give me back more than 25,000
That's a lot of money, isn't it?
for international students who can work only 20 hours a week.
Okay. All right. Before we go to the next, let me just clarify. Even though in some of the pictures you can see through the screen there is one university that is mentioned there, but that's not the university that Daniel attended. The UWA is not necessarily linked to this. It's just a picture that's showing some international students there. So yeah, so that was the third incident, Daniel, and then there was a fourth one,
Yeah,
which is one of
big
the
one.
I mean, the main one that you really has affected you very significantly. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I was studying at Australian Learning Group, a diploma in early childhood education and care.
Mm,
But during my last work placement in May 2020, I noticed I was not treated the same way that my Caucasian classmates.
mm,
During my prac, I asked 3 times to my center supervisor if they have a child with special needs. And 3 times she answered me no, and that I have to see that directly with my teacher. When I contacted my teacher, she sent me back to my supervisor. In reality, in reality, the center had a child with special needs, and they did that to harass me, to make me fail.
To make you fail the
However,
course.
yeah, fail the course and my diploma.
Hmm.
However, the same teacher sent three Caucasian students at the same center and told them they can copy paste on each other and she will mark them satisfactory.
Mm.
Finally, those students got their diploma. Um, I had to stop my work placement because of acute stress caused by my teacher and center supervisor.
I see.
Then I complained to the school, but my complaint and internal appeal were rejected by the one and same person, the school manager, which is against the school policy.
Mm. Mm.
Finally, I complained to human rights, but they denied my rights to get an urgent procedure and did not do the investigation in total impartiality because August 31, human rights decided to terminate the investigation without having detailed reports from the teacher, center supervisor, and childcare manager about what they did to me.
Mm.
To better understand, I left my prac in June 21, and in August 21, I still don't have the detailed report from the teacher, center supervisor, and childcare manager about what happened to me. And human rights decide to terminate this investigation.
Wow. It's quite interesting there. So you saying obviously you had these issues with the teachers and you the actual um, school or education institution, Australian Learning Group. I think you mentioned they had a complaint procedure that you followed, and you made a complaint which should have been investigated independently. But it's the same
Yeah,
person who actually sort of you complain against who
yeah.
investigated that complaint.
So, an internal appeal, yes, yes, true.
Hmm. That's
I
cool.
had any issue with the teacher. I
Hmm.
was often she gave me rewards because I was participate a lot. So that's why she never explained what she did that to me. So I don't know what she did that to me. What I know, all my classmates got the diploma except me, and no diploma. That means I can't get definitely my permanent residency.
So you were the only student in the whole class who didn't get
Yes,
your diploma.
yeah, true, correct.
And did you and I suppose you said you eventually ended up going to the Human Rights Commission in WA, is it in Perth? By the way, we
Yeah,
just want to clarify for those who may be joining us now that Daniel is actually in Perth, WA. That's where he's been studying. And Daniel, to get back to you, so you went to
yeah.
the Human Rights, and what did they do? How did they
Uh,
handle your complaint?
they didn't do anything because I thought they could help me to manage the situation and find as soon as possible a way to fix this matter. But instead, they take time. They denied my right because I asked them to put in place urgent procedure, but they never answer me about that. However, as an international student, I have the right to have an urgent procedure because they knew without my diploma, I can't stay in Australia
Mm.
permanently.
And have they ever sent you like a final letter to explain why they couldn't assist you?
Yeah, no, they didn't say they didn't assist me. They decided to uh, terminate the investigation. For me, you can't terminate the investigation if all the party involved didn't um, provide explanation about what they did to me.
Sorry, we had a bit of a glitch there for about a few seconds. Just
Sorry.
ask that question again. So what did they do in the end?
Yeah, at the end, the human rights terminated the investigation. But
Okay.
for me, you can't terminate the investigation if we don't have all the explanation regarding all the party involved.
Mm.
Okay,
Did, did-
because it's a serious matter about harassment and racial discrimination.
and did they ever sort of hear you? Did they call you or write to you to ask your side of the story in more detail?
No, they ask me all the details and I answer them. But the problem, every time I explain myself, they try to twist it my work, change it, and what I felt like they try everything to cover the school, teacher, child care center, and teacher. So that's why I don't think this investigation um, was impartial.
Okay. All right. And what do you think motivated the teacher at the Australian Learning Group to behave the way they did towards you? You're the only person who ended up not getting your diploma. Why do you think they were not as helpful as they should have been as a student, that international student seeking to have this qualification, which will eventually lead to potentially to residency in Australia, and that is obviously very important for someone like yourselves. But it looks like they didn't assist you at all. What do you think motivated them?
Racism. Unfortunately, it's racism because she sent in the same childcare center three Caucasian students and told them they can copy paste on each other and she will mark them competent.
And,
Only
and I think you
racism.
said you had evidence of that, showing that.
Yeah, I have video, I have emails, I have all evidence needed.
So you have seen all these things that have happened to you that have affected, I suppose, your ability to qualify for residency in Australia. What sort of message do you have now to anyone who may sort of assist you? I think you have about a month or so to go before your current visa expires. What would you like to say to? But by the way, before we get there, did you go to any sort of politician in your local area who perhaps could help you get
Yeah,
the matter looked at?
listen, I try some politician, I try some organization. They should have to help me, but again, all of them pretend they will help me. Told me they have a lawyer, they can help me, and finally, after 3 months, they decide to don't give me any news. So
Mm.
I am stuck. I am alone in Australia, and my right is to get help because I over 5.5 years I always pay my taxes and now I need help. I can't find any help. It's very frustrating.
Now, I'm not sure about WA, but here in Victoria, for example, I think there is a body that looks after international students, and that has been set up by the government. Is there any such organization in WA that specifically trying to assist in international students with a number of issues, including legal issues or any issues of discrimination or any unfair treatment in any way? Is there any such body in WA?
Listen, I contacted ethnic community council.
Yeah,
They told me they will help me, they will assist me during the court. They will put to my disposition lawyers. And
yeah.
after when they received all my documents, my evidence, few weeks later, few months later, I didn't get any news from them.
All right. Now, what do you think will happen now? Do you have any recourse, anything that you are sort of looking at that or trying to do that may potentially help you, or you sort of stuck and you don't know what to do?
No, now I am stuck because I am a lot to facing this situation. I think the last solution is to talk about my matter, speak up about my matter on the media. But I can't find any other person or politician, and that's why by talking about my matters, I would like a politician or the prime minister uh, tell me what he think about my situation, because now I can't get my permanent residency, and I work hard to get my permanent residency.
Have you sort of looked at contacting any immigration lawyer who may sort of look into this and maybe give you advice of what potentially can be done?
No, yet I am on the process. I'm on the process, but again, I have only 1 month my visa. In 1 month, my visa finishing, so I don't have much time. So I think the best way now is the media.
Okay, so that's why, I mean, we understand you came to us wanting to
Yes,
get
true.
your story given a little bit more um, exposure, so that eventually it'll be recorded what's going. We know that a lot of international students come to Australia and do encounter a number of issues, and there's quite a bit there that applies to you. Have you considered perhaps speaking to a community leader who may have connections with local politicians, who potentially may also even have connections with the office of the immigration minister, and see if there's anything that can assist you?
Ye- Yeah, I need to see that with my lawyer, but I sent a letter to the Premier of Western Australia,
Yeah.
to the Prime Minister. So maybe they are busy, I don't know. But yeah, I hope I could find a solution, and that's why now with the media, I can touch more people.
I see. All right. So perhaps you may have a final message for anyone listening who may potentially be in a position to help you, whether in WA, where you are, or even beyond, because immigration is obviously a federal matter, and
Yeah,
anyone can assist you even from other states. What sort of message would you want
yeah,
to
I would like
convey?
to say, yeah, thanks. I would like to say I have been in Australia for more than 5 years with no vacation, family, and social link. I work hard to get my permanent residence, but because of the Australian system and the systemic racism, I
Mhm.
can't achieve my goal. A few years ago, my teacher and center supervisor got permanent residency. My three Caucasian classmates who were privileged will get permanent residency too, but me, I lost definitively the opportunity to get mine because I didn't get my diploma. I would like to address my message to the Prime Minister to know what he thinks about my situation, but also to help me to recover my money because in few weeks my visa ending. I know that around Australia you have other international students, migrants who are experiencing the same thing as me, and I would like the Australian government to show more consideration about those people who are
Mhm.
in vulnerable situation.
Okay. Absolutely. And perhaps a question that people may ask is, why did you decide? Obviously, you want your story to be published, but you don't want to show yourself in the media. Is that because you're just a very reserved person? You don't want necessarily to show your face in the media, or is there any particular reason?
Yeah, part of the reason is because over 5.5 years I accumulate so stressed.
Okay.
So hide my face is to decrease my stress because
The
now
stress
I
that
am on
you've
the
incurred. Yeah.
yeah because I am on the medication because the stress I accumulate over 5.5 years.
I can certainly relate to that. This must be quite quite difficult for you given everything that has happened as you've described to us. There's one person watching who's actually suggested that maybe you could contact. There's a South Sudanese member of parliament in Perth who
Hmm.
was elected recently.
Okay.
She's obviously African born, and she may perhaps be in a position to assist you. Has anyone mentioned that to you before?
No, no, never, no.
Yeah, there's
No, I will.
some. We can find the details of her office.
Thank you for that,
Uh,
Claude.
Clement, who's made that comment, perhaps you may have those details, but I'm sure if we go on Google, I may find that as well. So you can contact them, and they may be in a better position to assist you. Well, Danielle, I understand where you're coming from. It's obviously a very difficult and
Thank you.
challenging situation for you. We thought we
Yes.
would give you an opportunity to expose your story so people would be aware of what is happening. We wish you good luck.
Thank you for that.
We know
Thank you.
that it can be quite stressful, but don't give up yet. Excuse me.
Yeah,
See if
thank
you can pursue any avenue that potentially could assist in some ways. And anyone watching, if you are in any position to help Daniel in terms of information or contact or anything that could be useful to him, perhaps you are an immigration lawyer and you want to do some pro bono work for him, or you know what can potentially assist him because you may have dealt with something similar before, please do not hesitate to contact us and we will be able to put you in contact with Daniel. All right, Daniel, thanks very much for
yeah,
your time. And
Claude. Yeah,
we
thank you. Yeah,
wish
sorry,
you good
Claude.
luck.
Yeah, thank you so much, and Africa Media Australia. Thank you a lot for your support. Thank you.
All right, thank you. For those watching, as usual, keep sharing our videos, subscribe to our YouTube page, like our Facebook page, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, stay blessed. Thank you.